And welcome back to Cigar Time Out. No, it's not the Outlet Show. Welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly neighborhood TV show all about premium cigars.
You sure?
No, we're not starting over.
So, we don't do that around here.
Yeah.
We're too good.
Yeah. We've only done that, what, 2 or 3 times?
In 10 years.
In 10 years. That's pretty good. So.
Yeah, we can't. Film's expensive.
It is.
Yeah, with
2 shillings a foot.
Especially with silver prices up.
Yeah, right, exactly. So today we're going to be doing something completely different. We're going to be smoking 3 little cigars.
And we're going to talk about each one.
And we're going to talk about each one. Now that it's getting to be, we'll start to, fall's here and it's getting into winter, and you can only smoke small cigars outside. You don't have to,
but the small
don't
cigars
stand
become
outside.
more popular.
Yeah, in
this time of
in
year.
the winter.
Yeah. So we thought we would do that.
I think it's actually a myth. I don't really believe that. Just like we sell more Churchills in the summer.
No, I don't think.
I bet you if you looked at it, let's just say we're doing small cigars for like the hell of it.
Well, there's another
We're doing
reason.
small cigars.
There's another reason too. Within a given blend of cigars, like a given brand, typically the smaller cigars are more flavorful than the bigger cigars.
Right.
And that might be counterintuitive for you because bigger cigars have more tobacco in them, so you would expect them to have more flavor. But as part of the ongoing debate that we have here about the flavor relationship between the fillers and the wrapper leaf, I won't give a percentage, more of the flavor comes from the wrapper than the filler. And in a smaller cigar, the ratio of wrapper to filler is different. Specifically, per unit of filler, you get more wrapper in a small cigar. But there's another reason that small cigars are interesting, and that's that throughout the history of cigars, when blenders were creating a new cigar, and they had some idea in their head about what they wanted it to do.
He doesn't believe you.
No, he believes me.
No,
he just doesn't care.
No, I want to light the cigar.
You just wanted to break my train of thought, which is easily done these days.
Yeah, I probably agree with most of what you've said so far.
Well, that's good.
But they're too small.
Well, okay. Anyway, when blenders are creating a new cigar and they're experimenting with the blend, they typically do all of that work with Corona-sized cigars. Which means typically 40-42 ring gauge,
Right.
And usually 5 inches or 5.5 sometimes, 4.5 sometimes. But they blend in the Corona size, and then they adjust the blend for all the other sizes. But if you want to taste exactly what the blender had in his head, then you smoke a Corona. Because that's where it all starts.
Do you think that's still true for most
Yes.
most companies?
Yes.
Really?
They still do their creative work with Coronas. And then spread out from there. Although
what if a company doesn't have a Corona? Do you think they sort of start it there as a prototype, even though they don't ever create the size?
But that's how they blend it. And then if they're a company that mostly does bigger cigars, they'll work out a change to the blend.
Adapt it. Okay. How do they go about it?
Hold on a second. First, we're smoking the breakfast taco from Rojas.
That's from Noel Rojas.
This is the Habano.
Sumatra. This is an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper on all Nicaraguan filler and binder.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to tell people what we're smoking. I've never had this cigar.
I'm trying to remember what the hell I was going to ask.
I have a question
Go ahead.
for you.
Uh-oh.
The Sumatra wrappers originally were from Sumatra. The reason why they're growing it in other countries is for the economic reasons or because of all the hurricanes and floods and earthquakes and all that stuff they've had in that part of the world?
Neither one of those.
Neither one. Okay. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Most of the Sumatra in the world today comes from Ecuador, which is all about wrapper. That's what they grow there. And in the 1940s, they took seeds from Sumatra and seeds from Cameroon in Africa and crossbred that and came up with Ecuador Sumatra, which for about the last 15 to 20 years has been the best-selling wrapper in the business. I can't say every cigar has it, but as a wrapper person, I can tell you that that has been the most popular wrapper in the industry. And if you look through, well, I'll pick Cigar Aficionado as an example, and you go down the ratings, on each page, usually at least 2 and sometimes 3 out of 4 are going to have a Ecuador Sumatra wrapper on it.
What I was going to, let me think I can remember what I was going to, so they start with a small cigar, Corona. How do they keep it as close as possible? Is there a specific formula they use, or do they just like, okay, put, a leaf of this, a half a leaf of this, and then try it, and if it's the same, good to go, or if it's not,
close,
they tweak it?
Yeah, it's a trial and error. It's experimentation to decide how much. So it's almost like a whole other blending job. You blend the basic flavor in a Corona, and then each other size that you make, you really have to reblend. You have to decide how much of which leaf you're going to add to beef up the cigar.
That's sort of when you were saying
Defeats
that.
the purpose of blending it to the.
No. I think what they're trying to do is keep it as close to the original
that
as
becomes
possible.
the standard that they try to reach with the other sizes.
Right. So then, okay. So saying that and using the standard by which they measure the other sizes. So how do they ensure year after year? How do they know that the cigar is the same? Do they base it on their memory, or I guess I sort of envision they've got a vault or a humidor somewhere of every cigar, and they're like, okay, it's time to make the last call, Havana, Geniales. All right, let's get one out, smoke it.
You're talking about quality control samples for blend purposes.
I guess, yeah. It's 5 years from now. We want, and we have the blend, but we want to make sure it's exactly the same. Do they go back and smoke it, or?
Yes, I can tell you what I used to do, which is that I kept a store of what I called quality control samples, all listed by year and batch number and all of that. Mm-hmm. And then when it was time to do a new batch, the results I would compare flavor-wise. I did that myself. Mm-hmm. Smoke the old one, smoke the new one.
Just to make sure it was consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you keep the original one the same taste? Because when you're aging it, it's gonna smooth out. It's gonna age a little bit.
Cooler and a little drier. Lower temperature and less humidity slows down the ongoing chemical processes in a cigar that age it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
That's cool. That's the little nitty gritty stuff I love.
There is, you were talking about saving some of everything. There is a major cigar distributor in California that used to sell my
Paul
stuff.
Major? Or just Major? Like
A substantial.
Okay. That's a legitimate question, am I right?
It is. Spelled differently.
Anyway, he's a significant distributor, and he used to sell my stuff all over California. And he kept multiple boxes of everything I ever made in his gigantic warehouse humidor in a glassed off.
I don't like the word kept. I like the word keep.
He still keeps them. He still has them. Some of everything I've ever made. He told me that once or twice a year he'll go into that glassed-in room of my stuff and pull out something to smoke.
Well, his number. I want
to
get some P3000s.
P3000 Maduro Toros.
He's got them. And the funniest thing is that over the top of the door into this glass room, it says the Museum of Armando Ramos, which was the name of my company.
Call him and see if he can, obviously we'll pay for him. See if you can get some for us.
When
A box.
tell you something funny.
2 boxes.
When I went to work for McAuliffe Cigars as a sales rep, and I wanted to bring that distributor on as a distributor for McAuliffe, Al McAuliffe, the owner of the company, wanted to meet with him. So I scheduled up this meeting, but I didn't go because I was working on the East Coast and he was on the West Coast. I get a phone call from Al McAuliffe saying the meeting was very successful. But the weirdest thing, he took me into this little room in his humidor where he had cigars made from 50-year-old Cuban tobacco. And he gave me one. And it was fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
And I started laughing. I said, Al, that's my cigar. I made that cigar for years.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was kind of cool.
That is very cool. I'm serious, by the way, in case you think I'm kidding about getting some. You know how I
He's
hate...
got them.
He doesn't sell them, though, does he?
Nah.
Not anymore. He just has his little personal inventory.
That's crazy. All right, what do you think of your first impressions of the breakfast taco from Rojas?
Well, as the name would say, breakfast, so I would consider this a first cigar of the day. I find it to be a light cigar on the power scale. Barely a 2,
Okay.
more like a 1. Good smoke, decent flavor.
Paul?
I'm getting, it's totally got the Ecuador Sumatra character to it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting very light pepper and a earthy, minerally kind of quality that's very specific to Ecuadorian tobacco. But I like it. It works. It's mostly mid-palate with a little tingle on the front. Not much of anything in the back, at least at the moment.
Did you retrohale it?
Not yet.
See, when you said mildly peppery and like through the retrohale, you can feel it everywhere. Okay. And I would agree with the earthy, but to me it's more like an earthy vegetal kind of.
The vegetal character is coming from the filler. The minerally character is coming from the wrapper.
Okay.
Scott?
Just said it.
Oh, you just said it. That's right. I'm getting a fruity taste when I first lit it up. Almost like a kiwi type taste.
What do you
I would
me?
say that's from the wrapper too.
Yeah. I've never had this cigar. It's actually really tasty.
I think it's great.
Oh, you had the other ones.
No, I've had the other. I've
The
never had the.
street taco.
I've had the street tacos. I've
never had the breakfast
Never had the
tacos.
breakfast tacos.
And interestingly enough, it is a different blend. You know, when I first heard about the breakfast tacos, I assumed it was going to be the same blend, different shape and different wrapper. Turns out they completely reblended the cigar for this size.
Oh, really?
In a choice of 3 different wrappers. You can get it in this Sumatra, you can get it in a Connecticut, and you can get it in a Maduro.
Ironically, I had taco bowls last night for dinner.
Ironically.
Ironically enough,
It would have been really crazy if you had it for breakfast.
I could have. I just because they were some left over.
So if
He
you had a
he had
steak
Fruit Loops
last
with
night,
kiwi in it.
Yeah.
if you had a steak last night, you'd be smoking a red meat lover's cigar. I still can't believe somebody named their cigar that.
I still can't believe they haven't come in yet.
So you ordered them.
They're good.
I've never had a red
Wow,
meat
they're
lover.
actually really good.
All right.
Are we going
We're gonna rate
these?
Yeah. Why not? Absolutely. You've got a couple more minutes though, before we move on to our
It's
next
small.
cigar. Small cigar. I'm kind of enjoying this.
I think it's, so am I. I think it's. I'll give it like a 2.5, 3 on the strength scale.
I
it's a
think
little-
it's.
getting
I think
stronger
it
as
is
it
getting
goes.
stronger as it goes along. Although there's not much to go along. I mean, it's a small cigar, but yeah, I think it's a little stronger than Moose.
Remember, I smoke black cigars.
That's true.
So
And the other thing with smaller cigars is when you talk about ratios, the ratio of the cigar ring to the size of the cigar is much greater.
That's what. Yes.
We'll talk about
You
that
knew I was going
more on
somewhere,
the
didn't you?
third cigar.
Third cigar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what, 85%.
So I think it's kind of interesting. Noel Rojas, the owner of the company that makes these, calls himself the king of small ring gauge because he doesn't make anything bigger than a 50. And most of his stuff is 48.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, but I mean, no. Okay, so he doesn't make a 60.
He doesn't make a 60. He
Or
doesn't
a
make a
52,
56.
or
A 50's
52.
not a small ring gauge.
That's the biggest, and he doesn't do much in 50. Most of his stuff is under 50.
In the 40s?
Yeah, and I think that's a very legitimate position for him to occupy.
I guess.
Somebody got to make them.
I mean, the Toro's still a. I saw that. I'm like,
Does he make a lot of stuff for overseas, like in Europe? Because they're the ones who smoke the smaller ring gauge cigars.
I don't know if he makes a lot for overseas or if he's just pushing to have people be aware of the benefits of small ring gauge.
Okay.
have you guys ever tried the Rojas, the Blue Bonnet, and whatever the Maduro was?
No, oh, statement. The Maduro is
And
the
statement.
Statement. I
I've
the
had
statement,
that, and I
but-
thought it was excellent.
It was very good.
Very fantastic.
The unfinished, was it unfinished business?
Something like that.
I think
Sounds
there's
familiar.
Unfinished business, I think, is the best thing he's made so far. But I haven't had a Blue Bonnet, so I'm not 100% sure.
I had
of
the
that.
Blue Bonnet when,
They were really
when it
good.
came out at the show. It was a good cigar.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, unfortunately, like most,
the
it
st-
just. I mean, the street taco's got legs. That's still.
yeah, that
it
one
still
does.
sells.
Yeah, the other ones don't. But the statement is really good cigar.
I thought it was an excellent
Yeah.
smoke.
I had that. No, I had that in a Lancero in the store.
Did you?
Maybe it was the Blue Bonnet, but one of the two. I just brought in the
I would
the
imagine
V
that,
Lancero.
unlike a lot of Lanceros, I would imagine the construction on that was impeccable. You know, some people get sloppy with Lanceros because it's a very hard cigar to roll right.
I guess. But
But
then I would
he's-
think they would
since
put the
his
best
people-
rollers on it.
Well, yeah, and since he's all about that ring size anyway, executing it would be much easier for his factory than a lot of other factories.
What's more difficult, you think, rolling a street taco or a Lancero? Because I would think, with given the shape and,
yeah.
and the size of it, I would think that would be like a real pain in the
Basically, the shape,
sack.
this shape comes out of the mold. So you have to bunch it just so
Yeah.
to fit in the mold, but the shape doesn't make it harder to roll. In this case,
But
Some
once it comes,
shapes do.
but when it comes out of the after you take it out of the mold, and you put the wrapper on it. It's got to be a. I guess it's just a significant curve or something when you do it.
yeah, you have to cut the wrapper with a sharper curve
Like a
than you
sickle.
would normally do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of pepper now.
it's building
Towards
up.
the end.
It's building up.
A lot of it.
It's not
t-
towards the end. It's
So-
barely the middle. These are small.
Yeah, it's really like almost my whole tongue is
And it got
tastes pepper.
creamy.
Yeah.
Well, since it's a general question about smaller cigars, do you think they come out with smaller cigars because the market wants it or demands it, or do you think they're just like, we got all these freaking small leaves, we got to use it for something?
No, I don't think it's that at all.
So, okay, so then go back to their, they cut
All
this
right,
out.
all right,
Well, they
you know what? We have to move on to our next cigar.
Oh man,
Hold on a second. I know. 20 minutes for each cigar. That's 60 minutes. Moose.
8.85.
Okay. Paul?
I give it a 9. I like it a lot.
Scott?
hold on, you give your rating because I just got a weird flavor.
I also give it a 9. I think it's really good. This is my first one, so my first impression is it's a very good cigar.
I'll go with a 9. I just got a very distinct flavor, and I couldn't. It was very powerful flavor.
What was it?
I don't know. That's why I wanted
Oh,
to try.
what good are you then?
Not very. I'll tell you that. All right, what are we doing
All right,
next?
Next, we are doing the last call from AJ.
You know what?
This is the Genialis size.
Been smoking a lot
It's 4x48.
recently. In the last week, I've realized this is the perfect for the
Just
ride
gonna
home.
say that it's
Is
a
it?
perfect size.
It is. We have a cigar similar in size, or in length at least. It's a 4x48. Ours is a 4x40. The quickies.
Oh, this has a
we have-
closed foot.
Yes. This is a great size cigar.
It is.
I need 2 of them for my ride home.
What? Your ride home is probably the same as mine from Colmar to Yardley. How long, what do you, 45 minutes to an hour?
An hour and 15?
Really? Oh, that's right. I keep thinking you're Freehold.
No.
I keep thinking that. Because my house to Freehold is me to the Freehold, where the Freehold store was, is almost the same as from my house to Colmar.
Freehold is actually farther away than me, but
The way you have to
it's
go.
more highways and less local road.
Oh, okay.
My commute is 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes from here.
To
Jesus,
Quaker-
I live in King
Quakertown?
of Prussia.
Yeah.
Mine's only 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, that would be nice.
20 minutes.
wait.
Let me
It's
tell you,
that
when
long?
when I work in the
See, when I come
the-
here, when
Oh,
mine
to
stays-
here.
When I come here,
No. I thought you were talking about from King of Prussia to your house.
Oh,
you can,
no,
You can
no.
walk there.
yeah, that's
That's
like a half a mile from my house. The
Yeah.
store.
What's the blend on this? It's a Havana and Nicaragua.
Yep, it's an Ecuador Habano Rosado wrapper and all Nicaraguan filler and binder, and the fillers are all grown on AJ's own farm.
All right, so the question I was going to ask before was, so that they take a leaf and you're describing that they cut it, and let's use this cigar, because it's probably takes a smaller wrapper leaf than these. Will they be able to get more than one cigar out of a leaf?
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Everybody calm down. It relates back to the question of do they come out with these to use the smaller leaves or the smaller wrapper leaves? That's sort of where that question derived from.
Typically, historically, all of the leaves were smaller, just because they hadn't bred them for size at that
Okay.
point. As it became a bigger commercial kind of venture to make cigars, they realized that bigger leaves, as long as they were efficient about where you cut and how you cut, bigger leaves are better.
Now, I believe I think it was Nick that told me that, like, if they have a big enough leaf, they're making a Robusto, a Toro, whatever, they can get 2 cigars out of it.
At
Like, they
one
won't-
side.
Yeah.
Now remember, you automatically get 2 because you take the main
Well,
vein
out of the
and
one
then you have
side.
2 sides.
Right. The left
But
and
you're
the right.
saying from
from
two,
like one
from
two cigars
two-
from one side.
2 wrappers from one side.
Yeah.
So you can get 4 wrappers
And broadleaf even
out of
more.
one leaf.
Really?
Broadleaf is so much bigger than other. That's why they call it broadleaf.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So they can get 4 wrappers out of one leaf.
But but it has to be.
Not 6 by 6.
So here you go. Well, I'm going to draw you something, Paul. Unfortunately, the audience can't see this, but so okay, here you go. We have frog's legs. Get rid of this. So sorry, you guys can't see
That
this.
looks like a cockroach with no feet.
Right.
looks like a surfboard.
So let's say they use
A roasted
this
coffee.
half on a small cigar, this half and this half, or will they use this and
I would
this?
say
They do
this.
longer strips.
I would think that.
So
that
so
way.
so they would do it like this.
right.
Okay, all right, because I know that the tip of the tip is always at the head of the
The head.
cigar, the head of the cigar.
Yeah.
That's where the most flavor is.
That's why you have left-handed and right-handed leaves.
Exactly. Okay. Sorry. Here's the drawing.
Try to contain your excitement.
Okay.
Damn, this is a good
Thank you,
cigar.
Mr. Rembrandt.
Actually, I love Habano wrappers. It's becoming one of my favorite wrappers.
Yeah. Yeah. I go to Habano wrappers, man.
And you know,
Especially AJ's.
Well, Nicaraguan Habano is really, really
delicious.
good. Although I'm a big fan of Ecuadorian Habano too.
you know what got me on Havana wrappers?
What?
Eduardo Habano. Seriously.
For the money,
It's
you
the best cigar we
cannot
have.
beat that cigar.
No, for $5, less than $5.
I still have one. I still have like 10 left of one of the originals.
Really?
I have them aging in one of my really good humidor. I traded a guy for an LA Blue.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What'd you trade him?
Do you still
Do
have
that later.
Magus?
I have one.
I'll buy it. It's my own friggin' cigar, and I haven't had one in 10 years.
I'll double check. If you have to remind me next week, I'll double check.
That's what happens when you
Otherwise,
smoke
I'd
your
have
own
to fly back out to California and get one from the distributor, but I don't go out there anymore.
They might be able to ship them.
No, you can't ship cigars out of California. Their mail order laws are crazy.
All the laws are getting crazy. I saw on the news this morning that there's passing a law that you can't smoke in your car if there's anybody 16 years of age or under.
They're trying to pass it, or they are going to pass it.
One of those
It's
two.
been proposed. It hasn't been voted on yet.
How do you
What's-
not
what
vote for
state?
that?
California, what do you think?
Seriously, I mean, if
Oh, the
you're
land
a
of fruits and
politician,
nuts.
how do you
Tilt the
not
country
vote for
left,
that?
and all the fruits and nuts roll to the West Coast.
I don't know. First off,
You
I
got
think
something
if you do that, you're first off, if you smoke with your kids in the car,
You're nuts.
There's nuts anyway, yeah.
yeah.
It's like
I never would.
It's like having glass pants.
No, I've never
I
had
thought
any.
you were crazy, but now I see you're nuts.
Paul, that's pretty funny. That's very funny. I
All
like
right, let
that.
me ask you, kid. Let me ask you a question. When you were a kid, did your parents ever smoke in the
Yeah.
car?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's the problem?
Hell, my mother
doesn't make
smoked
it
when
right.
she
And
was pregnant
we
with
drove
me.
in the
What's the problem?
and we rode around in the back of a station wagon
Facing
with the back
backwards.
window open, facing backwards, waving at the driver
yeah.
behind you.
Yeah, I know.
The
No
back-
What's the
seatbelt.
problem?
The back of a station wagon was the best place in the world.
I don't see the
some of
problem.
the stuff, yeah, like okay, you say this was the sports drink. It was a hose. All right, whatever. I don't want why anybody would get up in arms about that, but I mean, it's pretty stupid to sit on the back gate of a pickup truck going down the highway. I'll admit that's
yeah.
probably a smart thing not to
for
allow.
safety reasons, we closed the tailgate.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we sat in the back of the pickup
See,
truck,
your
but we
family
closed
was
the
much more
tailgate.
intelligent than mine.
Or you hook a bungee cord from the back of the cab
To your belt?
to
To
the
your
belt,
belt so you
and
don't
then
fall off.
and if you do, you
just
bounce
go
a couple of
doing,
times and
doing,
shoot
doing,
right
doing,
back into the truck.
Remember in Honduras when we were flying along those
Oh,
roads
my
and
God.
standing in the back of that pickup truck?
Pickup trucks.
Oh my God,
zooming,
we were Carlos's car, weren't we?
Yes.
Oh God.
zooming, no doubt zooming from
It was like taking- it was-
Tegucigalpa to
Yeah.
Yes,
Dan
it was
Lee.
practically
Yeah.
taking the road to Hannah. That's how wide this thing was, and they're flying. I'm like, we're gonna die.
And there was like 12 of us standing in the back. It wasn't like one or two of us.
But even the drivers from down there are very, very anxious to get out of Tegucigalpa and into the countryside.
I
because
can't imagine
Tegucigalpa
why.
is one of the most dangerous cities in the world.
Well, then I've been to two of the three, because I've been to Camden. I've been to Juarez, believe it or not.
And Chicago.
And Chicago.
I've been to Chicago many times.
Well, that's one of them.
It's all lightweight compared to Brooklyn, New York.
Juarez is not
The
lightweight
Chicago's right
compared
up
to
there,
Brooklyn.
dude. Chicago's
The
right up
murder
there.
rate in Brownsville, Brooklyn, is the highest in the United States.
Yeah, per capita. You see, you're putting your spin on it.
Okay.
All right. First impressions of this cigar. Moose.
I give it a 9. I like this.
We're not
We're
giving
not,
it
we're
a
not giving a
number
rating.
yet.
Get another 10 minutes.
We're
Doesn't
giving it a
count.
first impression, damn
Cut.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
That's my
dub
first
that out.
impression. I actually like this one.
Really? You never
Flavors?
had it?
It's been a long time since I smoked
He
one.
doesn't smoke little
Dude,
cigars.
Sure.
Dude, you guys are like just a couple inches into it. You know, I'm halfway through this thing.
A couple of inches is halfway.
It's only 4 inches. It's only 4 inches long.
True, true. Or you guys,
just feel
you
like
guys
you're
are
almost-
only a quarter inch in, and I'm halfway through.
That's great. That was very funny. Paul, that's 2 today, man. Holy cow. You should
I'm
just
going home
Go
now.
home. Drop the mic.
Yeah, drop
drop
the
your
mic.
lavalier and
Dude.
go home.
The meds are working today, huh?
Yeah, Paul.
Apparently. To me, this cigar is all about cream. It is one of the creamiest cigars I've ever smoked.
I'm getting creamy and nutty also.
And I just think for a little $4 nothing, I think it's about $4. This is a ton of flavor. It's delicious.
But they do have a smaller version of this.
Yes, they do. It's
Yeah,
called the
I actually,
Cortica.
they're on back order right now, I think, but I ordered some for trying out because we are going into the winter. So I'm going to
Ah,
experiment
so you're-
with a. That's an experiment.
It's
I just
not
want to
actually
prove everybody
smaller.
wrong.
It's not
Okay.
actually smaller. It's shorter,
Sure,
but it's fatter.
It's the same.
No, it's not.
It's not-
It's a higher ring gauge.
It's more than 48.
Yeah.
Ah, I thought it was smaller. I thought it was 48. It was just a shorter size.
It might be a 49.
When I was reviewing,
It's not a 50.
I was going the last time I was ordering AJ. I went through stuff and I was like, "What the hell?" Like we didn't sell any of this for the first like 2 years, and all of a sudden, I think I had to order like 10 boxes. We sold so damn many of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This cigar was named the Last Call because AJ's idea was to make a short cigar. So if you're in a bar and you're smoking and you're drinking and they have
Yeah.
Last Call, you don't want a big cigar. You want something
Right.
that you can smoke before the place closes.
Okay, Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, there's a creaminess, very nutty,
Not a lot of spice.
and there's a little bit of spice on the retrohale, but I'm feeling it, in your olfactory as opposed to,
Yeah.
and it's a feel as opposed to a flavor again. Oh,
Speaking-
salty! Wow, all of a sudden I got a real salty.
There-
Right?
yeah, it's there.
That's a mineral, right?
Yeah.
Very minerally.
Speaking of retrohale, I saw a video yesterday of a woman smoking a cigar. She retrohaled, and then she retrohaled out of her tear ducts.
Yeah,
What?
like Tia.
She tried it out of her ears.
No, this was real.
I've seen that before.
And
I think.
this was a video, and then a doctor came on to explain how this happens. There is actually a little channel between your tear duct and your sinuses. It's why your eyes water when you cry. But if you're retrohaling, some of the smoke can get up into that channel, and it comes out of your tear ducts.
Doesn't sound pleasant.
No,
No,
does
I wouldn't.
not.
I
It's
wouldn't,
hard enough to learn how to do this.
I hate
I
when
wouldn't do
smoke
it,
gets in
it's-
my eyes anyway.
I would only do it for one reason. I would do it on this show because it would freak everybody out. That would be, and I would have to practice to figure out how to make it happen.
Do you ever
I
get,
wouldn't try that.
You ever like get close to the end of the day, like all of a sudden your eyes just sting? I think it's from like nicotine getting on your skin and then like leaching down into your eyes.
Well, if you got into my car,
It's like my flavor saver. I can't believe that doesn't happen to you guys.
No.
That's
What's
amazing
that?
to me. Remember I talked about it on the show that one time where like sometimes I'll just get the nicotine gets caught in here and I'll like lick my lips or something and it's like when you get that when the tar comes out of the end of the cigar every once in a while. It's
Yeah.
that same kind of
I don't get that, but I do get something similar.
okay.
The color of my mustache changes
changes.
because of the nicotine.
I wish mine did.
My mustache gets in the way of my cigars all the time.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
really
getting this.
difficult
I'm getting the
since you don't
same.
have one.
My impression is I'm getting the same as you are. The nuts, the creaminess.
A little salt.
I haven't gotten the salt yet.
It's like salted peanuts. It really is.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to say it more like the salt on toasted peanuts, roasted peanuts.
Mr. Peanut.
That's the flavor. So, and I get a little pepper, but it's at the back. Like after you get the peanut, the roasted peanut, the salt, and then you get the little bit of pepper. I don't get the pepper at the front.
There's a lot of secco in this cigar because it dries your mouth right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
before I forget, screw the Jets. Okay, go ahead.
Wow.
You don't have to. They do it for themselves.
Unprovoked.
No, it was provoked. He's sitting right there. It's provoking, don't you
You're
think?
a jet.
You're number
You're
one
a
in our
jet.
hearts too.
All the
Jet.
way.
Speaking of the Beatles. Jet.
That's not the Beatles.
It's not the Beatles.
Oh, that's right. It's Paul
Paul
McCartney
McCartney.
and Wing. 'Cause whatever it is.
So, all right.
Huh.
So, out of the two, which one do you like first? The best. Out of
This
the
one
first,
so
out of the
far.
first two.
That's a tough call, but I think I like the last call better.
Damn.
Scott.
Absolutely. But now it's like, wait a minute. Is this better than a 9? Because I gave that a 9 and it's not as
did.
good. So, uh-oh.
You're screwed.
I might have to retract Make that
No.
Make that an 8.95.
it's my show. I'll do whatever I want. That's not true. It's not my show.
It's your show.
No, it's the least of my show. Believe me.
I think if we measured minutes per episode, you're out in front.
It's because you guys just sit there and don't say nothing.
Well, I try, but you mock everything that comes out of my mouth.
But nothing else to say. What do you want from me? I know nothing about no cigars.
Right.
It's a double negative, so that means you do. We know what you're doing.
Do you? Because I don't have a clue. I'm glad somebody does.
I also agree. I like the last call, but that's a very good cigar also.
No, that one sucks now.
Well,
It's a
I,
ve- it's
see,
a very
I can
different
go
character.
and give this a 9 because I didn't give that a 9.
That's right.
So I guess you like this.
I like this better than that, yeah.
Well,
Now, have you? Go ahead.
no, it just sounded like you didn't like that one at all.
No, I like I said, I already gave my score on it a 9.
That's true.
You know, for its size, this cigar burns really slow.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of flavor for the size.
it does have a lot.
Rob, come on.
Sucker.
Paul got that right away.
Stop it. I didn't realize what you were going to say at the end. I was just agreeing with
In
you.
other words, he put
It
his
does have
mouth
a
in
lot
gear
of
before
flavor.
his brain.
I've been smoking more of these very recent because of the drive home from one store is like 45 to 50 and the other's a half hour, 35 on them. This is perfect for that.
So what do you smoke from Colmar?
That's this too,
Oh,
but more and sometimes more. It depends on if I'm in the middle of a cigar or if I'm lighting one for the ride home. And I swore I wasn't going to smoke in this car, but that lasted like 6 months.
There is another difference between this and most small cigars, and that is the sheer amount of smoke that comes out of this cigar.
yeah. It is a lot. All right.
Well made, well thought out.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
events.
Yeah, we're at that point where we might as well talk about events. They're actually tomorrow, so hopefully those of you who are tuning in, we have events in 2 stores with West Tampa Cigars and Ricky Rodriguez.
Rick will be there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So tomorrow in Fraser from 11 to 2, and then Downingtown from 3 to 7. So you'll be able to meet Rick, Rami, and I'm sure Leslie will probably be there too.
The whole
I'm
gang.
sure Leslie will be there.
For
Yeah.
those that don't know, Rick Rodriguez used to be the master blender at CAO for many, almost 25 years. And then a couple of years ago, he split off and started his own company.
A couple of years ago, last year.
Early last year.
Was it
Early last year.
Yeah.
Last
Like
year.
February.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make it. Yeah, it was last year.
And the company's called West Tampa Cigars. So far, he's
West
released...
Tampa Tobacco.
Yes,
Company.
West Tampa Tobacco Company. And so far, he's released 4 different blends. The West Tampa White, the West Tampa Black, the West Tampa Red, which is absolutely phenomenal,
Stay tuned for that around Christmas.
and the Attic series.
Christmas.
When we do our top 5.
Oh, yeah. The red is, I used to think it was the Attic series that was the best, but recently I've had some really, really good reds.
Reds.
I
The
find
red
myself
is
smoking a lot of those lately.
They are very, very good cigars.
I like what Rick had to say about that cigar. He said that the other 3 cigars he created for this were about what he thought would sell, but the red is what he blended to smoke.
Okay.
And I think it shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's far and away the best one.
And they're all really good,
They are.
but that one is just a standout.
And
All
he
right.
was the first, I don't know about maybe only, but first they trained him to be a blender. Most everybody
Formally.
else just sort of
And he
evolved
lear-
into it.
He learned from the best.
Oh,
He learned
Benji.
from Benji Menendez. So he's like the godfather of blending. So, all right, let's get on our 3rd cigar.
Well, you had to rate this one.
Oh, yeah. Moose already had a 9.
I already said a 9.
Good.
9.2.
Sure, 9. And then this is now an 8.75. 8.8.
He's retracting it.
Yes.
I give that a 9.5.
Wow.
Dude, I love that cigar.
Well, your 9 and my 9.5 are about the same. I don't want to stop smoking this.
Either do I, but we have to.
I don't have to do
You're
nothing.
contractually
Contractually obligated.
obligated. That's the word. Obligated. Contractually obligated.
That's all, folks.
This definitely rates as one of the highest band to cigar
Yeah.
ratios.
Yeah.
I mean, basically the whole cigar is wrapped, although most of it slides right off.
Like a prom dress. That's exactly how they advertise it.
It slides off like a pump.
Like a prom dress. That's exactly right.
All right, so this, by the way, is the Esteban Carrera Mr. Brownstone Maduro.
Bullet size.
They call this size the Bullet,
bullet.
B-O-O-L-I-T.
The bullet.
This is a brownstone?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the new Devil's Hand. Okay,
No.
cool. Oh, good, because I
No.
just smoked the new Devil's Hand yesterday.
That's also a very good cigar. I think
Yeah.
we smoked that on the show when
We
it first
did.
came
A
out.
bigger size, yeah. Sean stopped by yesterday.
You know, I wish that last call came in a bigger size.
It would be interesting.
It would be, but I don't know if it would taste the same.
duct tape two
You know what?
together.
I wonder if the San Latano, it's similar to the San Latano Requiem
The Habano.
Habano. Similar, but not exact.
Right.
Also one of my favorite cigars.
Remember how many of those things we used to sell?
Oh my God.
Bought 100 bundles, and if you use the time, like you could just see them just
Yeah.
shrink. This
Time lapse.
pile of bundles. Oh my God. And AJ had to come out with better cigars.
How dare he?
I know.
Shocking.
The El Dorado, did that come out this year or last year?
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Great cigar, too.
We just
It came out last year, but we just got it.
No,
That's
we've
because they
had
didn't.
it for a
They
long
didn't come.
time.
Nah, not long. Not real long.
I am not putting blame on any one particular. I'm just saying we just got
I
it.
am.
You just got it. Yeah.
All right. We've had it for a long
We've had it for long.
Actually, I got it when everybody else did.
time. Oh, okay.
I'll show you guys how to figure out of here now.
Yep.
Speaking of small cigars, I brought in the Corona.
Corona. Yeah, so did we.
I didn't see
Yeah.
it in there.
It's not in it. We didn't get it yet. I just,
Yeah, we did.
I just ordered it. Did we got the Corona?
Coronas? Yeah, like 15
I haven't been here.
boxes of them.
I haven't been. Yeah, I ordered a ton of them. I haven't been here in a while, so.
Yeah, I'm actually very anxious to taste that in a small ringgit.
Yeah.
Getting them right off the front, a smoothness and like almost a mapley kind of sweet flavor.
Like
And
a
that was through the
heavy,
Retro
dense-
Hill.
Like a dense sweet.
Yes.
I got the maple taste through the Retro Hill also. What's up?
Even though you hate to agree with me.
I hate it.
Does this count as smoking 3 cigars?
1.5. So we've
Considering
we've-
what I smoke, it's
I'm
more
glad I
for
didn't
that.
smoke one of those
It's a
morning.
half a cigar.
Well, we should have twisted them around each other and made a culebra out of it.
I almost smoked. Oh, you know what? I meant to smoke that this morning.
Which one?
The AJ.
What are you saying?
or
You're
the
onto
El
something.
Pupo Culebra.
We ordered them.
me,
We haven't gotten ours
If
yet.
I just put all three in my mouth and lit them up at the same time, it would be what I normally smoke.
Right.
I thought I would've
That
went
would add up to one of your normal cigars.
I just marked it as a 900. I know I'm not going to reorder them at any point. Probably.
Yeah. I think I only got like 5 boxes of them.
It was pretty good actually.
Are they?
Boy, it's weird. We're talking about a Culebra, which is we talked about that last week.
Last
We
week,
had three cigars
three
intertwined.
cigars wound around each other.
So I got one in, and like, you know, when I light a cigar, I'm like this, but it's crooked, so it's like
It's going like
it's like whoa. It's like that thing where you got to put the ring.
Yeah, I basically,
Yeah, that's
I
exactly
can't,
right.
I can't, because of my hands, I can't light a culebra.
Oh God, no, no. You'd have to just stick it into like a roaring fire
Yep.
and pull it out like a roasted marshmallow.
You mean none of these guys would be nice to help you out?
No,
No.
make more fun of them.
Yeah.
I've-
Where's the comedy in that?
I
Wait a
was,
second, wait a second.
I was telling Rob, apropos of my shaking hands, that I had a session with a new neurologist this morning. And, you know, so he was doing some history stuff, because it's the first time I'm seeing him. And he says, I see here you use tobacco. I said, yes. He said, well, how many packs a day? I said, no, I don't smoke cigarettes, I smoke cigars. He said, so how many of those? And
Oh!
I
Did you-
said,
did you
well,
tell him?
honestly, 12. Now, Mindy was
You
sitting
liar.
there. Mindy was sitting there, and her eyes bugged out because she doesn't know how much I smoke.
She does now.
Yeah, she does now.
Well, have her watch the
And-
show, and,
and
they're
he-
all small cigars, so it's really 6.
He said, have you thought about quitting? I said, yeah, I've thought about it once or twice, but it isn't going to happen. He said, okay, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. What do you do for a living? I said, oh, I work in a cigar shop.
Tell them to
He
do
said,
some-
okay,
tell them-
never mind.
Tell them to do some research.
Yeah.
Like, just call the FDA for a second, will you?
I talked to a guy yesterday who had cancer in his neck, in his throat, and he went to the doctors. And his wife was with him. His wife says, "Oh, he smokes 3 cigars a day. That's why he got it." And the doctor turned to her and said, "He could smoke 10 cigars a day. He would not have that cancer. There's no way that he got that cancer from smoking cigars."
Is that your new doctor now?
That's my new doctor. That's exactly right.
You're hired.
But yeah, you don't get throat cancer from smoking cigars.
Because the smoke isn't in your
It
throat.
doesn't go into your throat.
But your
Exactly.
eye ducts, it's a whole other story.
You know what? I actually asked my eye doctor about that and had him look at it, and he's like, "No, it's not really." I think he said it's really not an issue.
You're not going to get it
In
if
the
you-
moment that you have smoke in your eyes, it's an issue.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
It's not as bad as getting sunblock in your eyes, though.
you're not going to get it if you don't keep the cigar in your mouth all the time. There are people who just keep it in their mouths constantly.
Would that change
There-
your eye color?
What?
Getting sunblock in your eye?
Yes, it makes them very red. 'Cause it takes like 6 hours for it to get it all out.
And you can't tan your eyeballs if you have sunblock
I
on.
don't know. I wouldn't think not.
All right, Moose, first impression of this bullet from Esteban Carrera.
I didn't get any of the sweetness that you guys originally said.
That's because you don't know how to retrohale.
Probably.
You're less than the rest of us.
Probably.
Bless you.
But 9 times out of 10, I come up with the right flavors.
You're a chef.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. You want to get it out of the way now?
Yeah, it's done too.
Okay.
I can't say yet. I don't. There's competing flavors going on, and I can't distinguish them yet.
Okay. Paul.
I'm finding that this particular cigar, this one, I've smoked these before, but this one suffers from one of the things that small cigars can suffer from, which is a very tight draw.
Oh, really? Mine's perfect.
Yeah, mine's it's definitely perfect.
You got
Perfect,
the clunker
Craig.
in the box.
It happens.
Scott.
I'm getting some creaminess, very smooth, that maple, and also getting
A little bit of front of the tongue pepper.
a little bit of that, but I wanted to. I know you don't taste salt, but I feel like feel like I taste salt in the middle, like the dead center of my tongue.
It's the pretzel you ate this morning.
Yeah, right. So I want to say a salty. Maybe it's more of a savory kind of thing going on.
Umami.
Okay, Rob, give yours, and then I'll have a question.
I'm definitely getting that maple taste and the sweetness from the wrapper,
Yeah.
and the pepper on the front of the tongue, right now. So
This is one of those wrappers where you almost don't have to smoke it. Just the flavor of the wrapper
Yeah.
itself in your mouth is really rich.
yes,
So, which is better, this one or the Habano?
the Habano.
The Habano. The last call.
I don't know if I can say one is better than the other or that they're the same because they're so different. I think
They are different.
because I'm
This
really
comes
really
in a
like.
Habano also, by the way.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's right.
But we decided to smoke the Maduro
because we already had a.
We already had
We
it.
already had a Habano, so and this is, it's a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it's all Nicaraguan filler and binder again.
Right.
But
what's this
clearly a
like?
very different cigar.
Yeah. Yes.
650 or something.
Yeah, around there.
$6.99.
Yeah.
I like this size though. This is a little longer. I think this is a 4.5.
This is more like a true Corona.
Yeah, it's more like but the ring gauge is a little bigger. This is a 48 also.
I think this was the same exact length as a Genial.
No, it's not.
I think I've come up with the
Careful for
flavor
It's a-
profile for me.
Go ahead,
Huh?
Moose.
Good.
Because of my culinary training, I'm getting Montreal steak seasoning. Seriously,
On the steak or off the steak?
off the steak.
Oh, okay.
When you like you go
Yeah.
put your finger in it because you
Yeah.
want to taste it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit
pepper,
of brown sugar,
A
kind
little
of
bit
thing.
of garlic.
A little garlic. It's a mix of stuff.
Okay.
So it,
You know,
it,
I
it
laughed.
reminds me.
I laughed, but you're really right.
It tastes like Montreal steak seasoning when you just dip your finger in it and put it in
Yeah.
your mouth, not on the steak. That doesn't have the porterhouse feel.
Yeah. No,
But that's
I'm a
what
ribeye. I like ribeye more than porterhouse.
Me too.
Oh, that's good too.
I'm not a big New York strip kind of.
I'm a T-bone guy.
T-bone's good
Same
too.
thing, basically.
No, but both. It gets one side of the bone.
Yeah, I
strip,
like
the
I
other.
Yeah.
like fillet, but I'm not the other side of the.
The other side.
Well,
is,
if I have
this
my
New York
druthers,
strip.
and at least 4 times a year, I get ribeyes and cook them up. And
Love ribeye.
That's my favorite, man. All that fat
Actually,
in there.
my favorite is the cheapest cut of steak you can buy.
Sirloin.
No, chuck. But usually chuck is a roast because it's mostly kind of tough.
Right.
But if you get a center cut chuck steak with the bone in, it's all flavor. There's nothing else there.
you know what works too for a cheap cut of meat? And it's awesome. Marinade. Put it in a vacuum seal bag. Suck the air out. Put it in the refrigerator for about 48 hours.
The only thing I like on my steak is salt,
Steak.
salt, pepper, and butter. That's all I want.
When I cook a steak in the
I also put garlic in the sauce, like the
when I
like baste it.
yeah. Oh, so you're talking about doing it in a cast iron pan?
How else would you do?
There's only one other
on the
ingredient.
grill.
Grill.
Or if you're not, in the winter
Personally,
time.
throw it in the smoker.
Yeah.
Smoked steak is great.
I do prime rib that way.
So
Prime
what
rib,
were you
yeah.
saying,
Smoked it.
Paul?
The only thing other than what you said that I would add to the, when you're basting it,
Yeah.
is rosemary.
No rosemary.
Rosemary.
And you
I don't
want
like
you want to
rosemary.
change it even better? Brown butter.
So my kids love it when I'll make a seasoning of salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of brown sugar, and coffee grounds.
Oh, nice.
And they love it. They go nuts over it. My daughter makes me make it whenever she comes home.
Okay.
So I throw my prime rib in the smoker for about 6 hours, and then when that's done, I rest it. Then I slice it down. Usually I get a 4-boner. Cut the bones, between the bones.
Four-boner.
Wow.
You cut them down.
Rose is lucky.
And then I was waiting. But anyway, I slice, cut them between the bones so I get 4 nice slices out of it, and then I throw them on the Blackstone and sear it.
Oh,
real
you get a
fast.
rib roast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Standing
Standing
rib
rib
roast?
roast. Yeah.
I did that once. It turned out great. And I don't have a smoker, but I used the grill. And
Yeah, you can do
covered
that.
it up and I cranked it way as low as I could.
You don't put a lot of coals in the bottom, just a little bit.
I have a gas grill, but
Yeah.
I almost talked Wendy into buying me what's the name? A cowboy, not a cowboy.
the black
tomahawk.
tomahawk steak?
steak. It was $34.
Well,
at the
there's
store.
a lot of places.
And I'm like,
that
this would
call
be $80 if you bought it at the,
Right.
or $90 if you bought it at a restaurant.
How much
It was $35.
That's pretty good.
But
I
you're
know,
pay-
so I'm
but
saying.
you're
What was
paying for
this?
a lot of bone.
You're paying for the bone.
How long ago was this?
Yes,
week.
but
Okay.
but
Just this
when you
past
cook it on
Sunday.
the bone,
I paid
get
like
more
flavor.
$150
You got 10
for
times
4
more
ribeyes.
flavor.
Yeah.
No, I
But all
I
that
gotta get
extra
thick.
bone
Yeah.
doesn't really
Holy-
help you
but
any.
again,
Ah,
the
but
to- on
see,
the
now
tomahawk
see,
restaurant,
steak.
you're
here's
Yeah,
what you do.
much
Once you've
more.
eaten the steak and you got the bone left over,
You save.
you cut it in sections, throw it in a pot, get all the marrow out.
Get a bone broth out of it.
Ooh, baby. There's a lot more to it. But I was saying, after I'm done smoking and I throw it on the Blackstone, I could go with the Blackstone, which is a flat top, the charcoal grill, the gas grill, or the smoker. I have all.
Now I'll tell you something sacrilegious.
do you have a cold box on your
Oh,
smoker?
what is that?
Yeah, cold box. Yeah.
Sacrilegious.
Yeah.
Air fryer steak.
I've had that.
It's actually
It's actually
good.
really good, yeah.
You
I-
certainly get a good sear on it.
Yeah, that's true.
I've
How long
never
does it
had
take?
that way.
It depends on how
10
big your.
minutes?
It depends on how big
Max.
your oven is.
Yeah.
My oven is
Oh, is an air fryer.
an air fryer, so it takes longer because it's
Oh, really?
it's
You
much
have
bigger.
convection oven?
Yeah. So. All right, Moose. It's about that time.
9.2.
Oh.
Okay.
I like this one. It's a darker cigar. I like dark cigars. So.
Paul.
I give this an 8.9. I like it, but not as much.
Okay.
It's not in the league of the other two.
Okay. Scott.
The beginning of this cigar was better than. It's still very good, but I thought the beginning was fantastic.
The flavors get a little muddier as you go.
Yes, and you know what? I think maybe I find that with the. I think Robin, you and I may have discussed this. That I like the first light of a cigar.
Yeah.
I think that's the best flavor.
Yeah.
Some people claim that the cigar doesn't start until it gets down to the band, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Nah,
I like both.
depends on the cigar. Most of the time, I have to get like an inch into it, and then it's the part I enjoy the most. Once it gets down to the band, you
No,
get
I
all
enjoy-
that
I
nicotine
enjoy
at the
lighting
back
the
of the
cigar.
cigar, all the tar and everything.
And I suffer from cigar ADD. So I generally prefer the beginning of a cigar because no matter how good it is, I tend to get bored after about 4 inches. And I want something else.
I'm getting a little bit of anise on this, a little bit of like a black licorice.
Are you?
Just
Yeah.
a touch.
I'm not getting that at all.
Just a hint, and it's on the finish. It's after you blow the smoke out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a flavor, and it's also where the center of my tongue just gets a little tingly, almost numb, and it's reminiscent of what the flavors like, or how my palate feels after having black licorice, which I absolutely love. Black
Or
licorice.
Oh my gosh,
or
it's
Sambuca.
disgusting.
Yeah, Sambuca,
I
anisette.
love Sambuca, but I don't like black licorice.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I understand that.
I love black licorice. Oh,
Do you eat?
It's actually very healthy.
is it?
Black licorice.
Do you eat good
yeah.
and plenties?
I love them.
Oh my god. It's horrible.
And there are other plenty that I love so much.
Oh my god.
There's only one hard candy from that era that I like.
What's that?
Atomic Fireballs.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
good. Yeah, they're good.
Huh.
Even though
Oh,
that's
so-
cinnamon, but again,
I'll give this. I'm going to give this a 9.
a 9. Okay.
And you?
I hate to agree with Scott. I also give it a 9. I do like it a little better than the breakfast taco because it's got the Maduro wrapper. I think I get a little bit more flavor out of it. So,
Then you
there's
have
that.
to
I'm
try the
getting that
Maduro
steak
breakfast
maple
taco.
again.
Huh?
Then you should try the Maduro,
Maduro breakfast taco. I should try that.
I'm getting that distinct maple that it started off with. I'm getting it again, like an inch away from the ring.
Okay. Well, again, one of the Ricky Rodriguez is going to be here
Oh, I didn't.
tomorrow.
Yeah, Ricky Rodriguez is going to be in Fraser from 11 to 2 tomorrow, in Downingtown from 3 to 7, and then we got so involved I forgot. Friday the 6th. Is that this Friday or next Friday? Next Friday. This Friday. They're doing the Aganorsa blending event in Oxford Valley from 3 to 6.
That should be cool.
Yeah, it should be cool.
I'll be
Yeah,
in
with,
Atlantic City.
Mike King.
Mike King. He's an interesting individual. Thanks for watching, and don't forget next week. Well, no.
Smoke 'em if
Life's
you got
too
'em.
short to smoke
Oh, we're
cheap
not
cigars.
doing
Ciao for now, everybody.
Smoke off.